What's up, guys? And we are back for another edition of Double Trouble with Jason and Jeremy. Jason and Jerm, this is something we have not done in a long time. And I know there's a lot of debate about OU schedule. Are they going to be 8-3 going into the LSU game? And I guess we'll start off with the question: do you guys think that OU, if they win that LSU game and are 9-3, do they make the college football playoff? And Jeremy, we'll start with you, and you give your opening thoughts.
Yeah, I've been on every live show every night at 9:30. For the last 3 weeks, saying that OU will be 8-3 going into the LSU game. If they were to win that game and finish the season 9-3, I think it's about as close as a lock as there can be a lock of making the playoff. And here's why: if OU's 9-3 with the toughest schedule in the country, and in a conference where I think we would all agree, Jay and Jackson, you're going to get probably 4 teams from the SEC. I would find it very difficult. I would find it very difficult for 4 other teams to be ahead of OU if OU's 9-3.
How many did SEC get last year, Jerm?
I don't talk about last year.
Jerm, how many losses do you have Texas having?
2.
How many losses do you have Alabama having?
I haven't looked solely.
I can go down the list here, and that's my point.
Those two are 2 of OU's losses, so they're going to have the tiebreak over OU.
My point is this: 9-3. Wow, that's an awesome record and a good chance to make the playoff. It's nowhere near a lock to make the playoff at 9-3. It's just not. And you can argue the other side. That's fine. But with the amount of teams in the SEC, because go look at Texas A&M schedule if you want to. Conference schedule. I'm not talking about overall schedule, but
what do you have them at, Jay?
I got Texas A&M making the playoff, and because
what do you have them at record wise
in the SEC?
What do you have them in the record wise?
In the SEC, I probably have them 2 losses.
Because I can tell you this: if a team like Texas A&M or Vanderbilt or Ole Miss, if Tennessee, you can go down the list. If any of those teams are 9-3, they're not going in over OU.
Tennessee is if they beat Oklahoma, and they 100% would.
Not necessarily, Jay.
If they beat Oklahoma head-to-head,
they're going to go look at schedule. If Tennessee beats Oklahoma, Jay, then I guess you could say OU's losses. Then at that point, South Carolina, they would have had a beaten, so they're going to go in over South Carolina. I know a lot of this is going to play itself out, Jay, but go ahead.
No. Well, I was just going to say, Jay, so I believe that last year SMU, didn't they make the playoff? It was over Ole Miss, right?
SMU made the playoff last year, yes.
Yes, right. And there was the debate about
South Carolina. Made it over South Carolina?
Yes, and well, in my that OU brand, I agree with Jerm, is going to help them because let's be honest, if OU and SMU, let's say hypothetically, last year were sitting at 9-3, no doubt in my mind, OU is going to get in over Ole Miss, South Carolina, and SMU, no matter if OU lost to Ole Miss and South Carolina.
There's a reason Ole Miss and South Carolina didn't get it, even though South Carolina was arguably playing. They were the hottest football team in the entire country last year. South Carolina, hottest football team in the country, got left out. And do you know why?
What record were they?
9-3, Jay.
Imagine that, Jerm.
And let me finish. Do you know why they got left out? In my opinion,
why? Because their name.
No, they didn't have one of the toughest schedules. Oklahoma has the toughest schedule in the country, Jason.
Well, Jerm, listen.
Yeah, Jay. Ole Miss didn't. Neither did South Carolina.
Jeremy, I know it's a tough schedule, but let's just go off what you're saying, 9-3. And I agree with you, Jerm, on the 9-3. I agree with you that there's a very real chance I think OU could be 8-3 heading into the LSU game with the chance to go 9-3. I agree with that. But let's say they do that and they beat LSU. Let's say their 3 losses are Alabama, Texas, Tennessee. Okay? So Texas would be in probably. Alabama
is going to be in.
Alabama is probably going to be in if they beat Oklahoma and only have 3 losses.
Okay.
I know Tennessee's schedule is not tough, but it depends. You got Texas A&M that doesn't have a very tough schedule. I'm just saying it would be dicey in my opinion at 9-3, depending on who you lose to, Germ.
But that would also mean OU closed the season with beating an LSU team. I don't know who else would have lost to LSU. I mean, you can go. That means OU would have beaten Ole Miss. That
Okay,
means
but
OU would have won at South Carolina. 9-3 is going to be good enough for them to make it.
But for kicks and giggles here, the question is, will OU make the playoff record at with a record of 9-3? Let's say their 3 losses are Texas, Alabama, LSU, Germ. Are they making it?
Texas, Alabama, LSU?
Yeah.
That depends on what those teams' records are. Do
And
those teams have 4 losses?
Germ, if LSU and Alabama finish with ahead of Oklahoma or tied with them and they both beat them,
they would go ahead of OU if they were both 9-3, yes.
So that'd be 3 teams right there.
And then OU as the 4th, possibly.
Well, possibly, but you got Texas A&M, you got other teams, Jeremy. I'm just saying.
I'm tired of hearing about Texas A&M with the weak schedule they have.
Hey, here's something to ask you guys. Let's say that Michigan, for instance, has a bad year. They finish 5-7, and
it's not going to look good for OU.
And OU, but they still win that. Do you guys think the record of Michigan will have a factor of whether or not OU is going to make the playoff?
You know, I'm a little different than Jerm on this whole huge, tough schedule. I think it's a very tough schedule. But, guys, I don't think the people who make these decisions at the end of the year are going to look at it as much as they will head-to-head. I just don't think they will. And depending on who you beat and that sort of thing and who you lost to and if they're tied with you, I think that's going to be more of a trump card than your schedule. Because, guys, let's face facts here. I know OU's schedule is really difficult. It's extremely hard. But let's just say Missouri, Ole Miss, some of those go and don't have a very good year. Then it doesn't look as difficult with some of those teams now. What if South Carolina is a shell of themselves this year? I mean, you don't know that yet. And all I'm saying is based off who they play and who they lose to is more of a factor here because 9-3, I think you have a very good chance of getting in the playoff. But to sit here and say that's locked to get in the playoff, totally disagree.
Well, I will say going in years past, and I'd have to do some research, and you guys that are watching this can do your own research, but head-to-head hasn't always been looked at that much. Sometimes it's how you're playing at the end of the year, although guess what? That wasn't looked at much either because South Carolina was playing really well and did not make the playoff at 9-3. I think there's a number in their head of 4 teams that will make it from the SEC, and I think 9-3 gets you in the top 4 of the SEC.
How many made the playoff last year for the SEC?
3.
So, I mean, you don't know there's going to be 4, Jerm.
No, I said I think there will be, Jay.
I do too, Jerm. I do too. There could be more. There could be 5. Who knows? But I just think it's not a lock, and I know you think it's pretty much a lock. So, Jackson. Your thoughts?
Well, I do think it does depend upon who OU beats and who they lose to. I think if they lose to Alabama and LSU and let's say Texas, I do think OU's in the playoff. But let's say they somehow lose the game to Michigan and Michigan ends the year 5-7 or 4-8. I mean, I think OU at that point, I feel like that would keep them out of the playoff. I really do think it's just
4 losses. That'd be 4 losses. Texas, Alabama.
No, but they beat one of Texas, LSU, or Bama. I mean, so to me, I think the Michigan game is just going to play a huge factor. I do because no one really knows what they're going to be this year with Bryce Underwood. But I think OU, you have to win that game because if they don't win that game in week 2, then I think that's whenever you would start to question some things.
Guys, like this video if you think OU makes the playoff at 9-3. Yeah. Comment on the video if you think they do not make the playoff at 9-3. And thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.